Welcome back to the Empire Let's Play series. Today we're going to work on a small automated sheep farm, but before we get started on that, I want to talk a little bit about our jungle village. You might remember last episode we spent a little bit of time up in the jungle and we got started on our jungle village. And so what I want to do to begin today is just run out there and do a map. I ran over to Mingus and I grabbed some maps and I grabbed some leather so we can make some more item frames. And I want to add that to our big old map library. Usually on the weekends, I do a live stream and I get some work done on the roads. And I had hoped to finish this little section here, but I got a little bit of a cold or something. My voice still sounds a little bit weird and I have this little tickle in my throat, but otherwise I'm okay. But I didn't get much done on the road between episodes, so it is what it is. Similarly, we need to kind of finish this little section up here. So this will come along, go through the little hillside here, and then onto our new bridge. And then we'll have more road here that will kind of cut across this stony shore all the way down to our new jungle village. And it's looking really cool. I'm really happy with how this has kind of come together. Still need to do our little house in the corner here. And we still need to move everybody in. That's the reason that we're going to do the sheep farm, is we need a bunch of beds. And I'd also like to make a bunch of banners. But before we get to all that, let's grab a map. We'll go ahead and expose it. There's our little jungle village. Now let's go ahead and put down a cartography table and shrink this thing down. Put a map in there. Okay, and then we'll expose it again, and there it is. So I think I'm just going to leave this over here because we will need it eventually when we start getting the villagers in here. And then let's run back to the map library and see what this thing looks like. All right, this one's going to go there, and then this one goes up here. Very cool. So from the map library, we can see the road that goes up into the jungle. We've got our elevated roadway here that has the intersection. We come up here to our suspension bridge, then off to the jungle village. And you know, while I'm thinking about it, let's expose one more map. I just want to run out on this little peninsula here so we can get some of this map going. So if we run around the building here. So I'm pretty sure this actually connects up with where the jungle village is. Yeah, so right over there you can kind of see our suspension bridge. And this land kind of comes all the way around like that. Let's make our map. There it is. And there we have it. So this is actually not the ocean. This is a bay that comes off of that ocean over there. And then on this side of the land, we've got another ocean. So that's pretty interesting. And one thing I kind of just realized, we haven't seen any parrots yet. Or at least I haven't seen any parrots. If you saw any in the background, let me know. Let's run over. Whoa, that's a little further down than I thought. Just run over here real quick and see if we can kind of close this loop. So here is where it turns from birch into jungle. Interesting. I can kind of see the jungle village through the trees there. Is it me, or is there just no parrots? Very weird. I mean, there's a lot more jungle that we can explore, so not the end of the world, but just very peculiar that we've been spending so much time in the jungle and haven't seen any parrots. All right, and this one goes right there. Awesome. Well, I guess it's not actually a proper bay because this is sealed here. We could open that up and then it would be a bay that goes out into this body of water here. These might connect up here. And then this body of water, I think it actually kind of stretches out in this direction. I remember being able to see water from the mountain over here, or over here, as it were. Very cool, though. I think that is awesome looking. I've got 22 pieces of leather, so let's make some item frames, and then we'll get to work on our sheep farm. Okay, we still need a bunch of item frames, but that is a lot more than we had before. I'm pretty excited to get to work on the sheep farm because we haven't done much redstone in this series yet. And while I was thinking about it, I got a little bit of an inspiration for a new, much bigger redstone project. I think what I'd kind of like to do is build a central storage facility. Right now we have little bits of storage at each of the villages, which makes sense because we've been working on little projects at each of the villages. But I was thinking the other day, if I wanted an iron door, do I have an iron door somewhere already? Do I have to run around from village to village to village to find it? And so having somewhere central to kind of keep most of our stuff, I think would make a lot of sense. As far as where to put that, I'm not specifically sure. And how big it would be, all of that, I'm still kind of working that out. So we'll get to that eventually, but today let's talk about the sheep farm. I think we currently have about 10 sheep that are penned up over behind our village, and what I would like to do is just create some cells that will auto-shear the sheep and then take all of the wool and put it into chests. So we're going to need a bunch of wood for chests and hoppers. We're going to need some cobble. Don't have much of that. We're going to need some redstone. We'll definitely need a bunch of observers. I do have some quartz, so we can probably make more of those. Probably need some dispensers as well. And we might need more redstone. And actually, we're going to need some rails as well. We're going to need some glass. And this is one of those situations where it's like, do I have glass somewhere? I'm sure I do. We could always smelt more up. Oh, and speaking of smelting, I put some of the leaves in here. So we're starting to get leaf litter. What an interesting block. I love that you can kind of put it on anything. So, we could add texture to things that normally are very repetitive. That's kind of interesting, I think. But anyway, back to the sheep situation. Let's go do some mining, get a bunch of cobble, hopefully get some redstone, and then we can get to work on this thing. Pretty sure I have enough stuff now so I can make all the materials, so I'm going to do that, and then we will get to work. Okay. So, sheep farm's going to go right here. I think it's going to stick out about as far as the sugarcane farm does, so plenty of room. Grown a little bit of, spruce, because that's what we're going to build the building out of. And as far as the entrance, I could put it here, but I was thinking about maybe putting it up here. I'll figure that out. And then as far as materials, I've got all of our redstone. I've got some of our chests and iron to make the hoppers. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to put the farm together, and then we'll build the building, and then we'll work on getting the sheep over here. And there we have a wool farm. Well, most of a wool farm. I still need to move some of the sheep in, and I still need to put some of the roof on. I don't want to do the roof until we get the sheep in here, and I need to breed up more sheep before I can move them in. But we've got about half of them in. And you can kind of see what I did here is I did a couple of simple little capsules that have an observer and a dispenser. And we are going to make a bunch of shears to load up in the dispenser. And then whenever the observer sees that the grass gets eaten, it will automatically shear the sheep. And then we've got some hopper mine carts here to pick up those drops and put them in the chest. And then I was able to squeeze one more in here, and seems to be working so far. So that's great. We could, of course, dye these sheep different colors if we want to get more of one color of sheep. And yeah, once we get some more sheep in here, we'll then put a lid on this, and I think that will be that. I made it just a little bit recessed because this thing ended up being a little taller than I had anticipated. I was going to put them all side by side, and the building was going to get a little big. And so I decided to do this kind of squeeze one in the middle thing here, and that seemed to work out pretty well. Plus, it leaves this area open so we can get behind it to reload and all of that. Because we have this nice big building here and this nice big building, we were able to move the gate back a little bit. So this is the entrance to the village now, which is really, really cool. So when we walk up, we'll have a little place to tie up our horse here, and then we can move on into the village. Extended the path up here. I put all of the wood slabs in there so we have nice steps. Did a little bit of bone mealing. I still need to install some lights, but I think that's great. I think the last thing I want to do is run over to our map library and grab the map so we can update it. Let's grab this map. As far as the map goes, well, we don't have a roof on the farm yet, so it's a little unfinished, but looks pretty good. I think next episode we'll put some of the finishing touches on the jungle village, see if we can get some villagers moved in, and maybe even give it a name. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, scan the code on the screen or click join down below. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.